All right, y'all. Welcome to your annual Mega Live, where folks will just pop on and off. I did use the Southland sermon music because I figured we're already going to get one copyright strike today. Might as well just get another one while we're at it. Right now, got two special guests. Obviously, Kyler saw him this morning, but he's saying he's also ordained, which he is, but he is also the Taco King, and he is wearing a Wheat Kings jersey. Brian Thompson, live from somewhere where I won't say. Gentlemen, thanks for joining. Kyler, I know we talked earlier. Brian, how are you doing tonight, my man?
Doing good. Just got back to my second home in Canada this afternoon. So, but actually going to beat it out of here in about 13 hours because the snow is coming, and I'm going to beat it to get back to Fargo to do some work.
It's insane to think that you're
Cancun?
Yeah, I was going to say, no Cancun? Like, no
Cabo? Guys, I stay around for Christmas and New Year's, but my flight is on the 3rd to head to Nashville, and I get back to Fargo for 2 days, and I have a flight on the 10th to Phoenix. So, Kyler, see you there.
I will be in Phoenix in February, and I'll be in Cancun Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve, brother.
Oh, you'll be right up from the place down there.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to figure out Nashville. I got the flights booked. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do around it if we want to try to do something before or after. So, yeah. So let's talk about the bracket today. And Taco King, I know you did your homework. I know you did a lot of things. First of all, congrats to your alma mater, North Dakota State, on shockingly getting the #1 seed. I know it was tight for a while. I know you were worried a little bit that a Montana school would steal it, but no, they obviously deserving #1 seed. I know you watched the bracket special. What were your thoughts initially on the top four?
Top four were pretty chalk with what all of us talked about on it. I won some people the other night thought Montana shouldn't be the 3, but it's pretty obvious 3 when they play in what's considered a second toughest conference in the FCS, and they go 11-1 with a strength of schedule of 25 and only lose by 3. I just, what you do for me now biased, I look at it and go, in that game that could have went either way. Montana threw a pick for a return for a touchdown at a blocked field goal that would have tied the game there. So you play that game again, Montana could easily come out, but at 11-1 in the Big Sky Conference, you're the 3 seed all day long.
Yeah, Kyler, I know you had some thoughts, but after letting it percolate for a little bit, you still aligned with how the top 4 played out?
Yeah. The only thing that I dislike, and it's not even how it played out, because if I had to do my own top 4, that would have been my top 4. I just don't like how the committee puts out these rankings and then doesn't even honor their own rankings. Because it's not like in the past where it was just, they were just stats poll. Who cares? The committee's not on the stats poll, right? They're not the media. They don't do the vote. So like when we're looking at Tennessee Tech, for instance, I know that's not a top 4, but Lehigh was above Tarleton, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Yep.
Yeah. So then you just completely change your mind, but it's the whole committee making those decisions in 2 of those polls. And then all of a sudden you go, never mind. We're just going to switch it up when you didn't see anything that made you switch it up. So that's the only thing I don't like. Again, if it was just stats poll like in the past, who cares? Because the committee is doing stuff their own way. Now, again, I would have definitely had Tarleton at the 4 over Lehigh. I think they're a better team. It's just funky and a little bit weird that they just completely changed their mind on the last one. I don't understand the logic behind them changing their minds that much, even though I understand the logic because that's what I would have done for the top 4. Does that make sense?
No, that 100% makes sense. And I was thinking about this too a little bit, right? Because it did seem like a weird flip-flop, but also, do you think it's because Tarleton managed to squeak out the win against a team who was a true playoff bubble team in Austin Peay? Where most folks, with the exception of me, assumed Lehigh was gonna beat Lafayette.
Besides the Rev.
Besides me, I went for Lafayette, and for a while it looked really good.
It looked good.
But so I wonder if that's what kind of gave them the edge. Because I know too, Lehigh, great season, undefeated, but if Lehigh played Tarleton's schedule, would they have the same record as Tarleton? And that's
probably not. But also, I don't know. Lehigh is playing pretty damn good ball, and I don't like the just squeaked out argument because if you're the top 4 seed, you shouldn't have to squeak it out at home into overtime on some freak plays at the end.
Yeah.
So that's where I go. If you're the top 4 seed, do you think Montana State, North Dakota State, other teams squeak it out with Austin Peay? I don't. Southern Utah didn't. Eastern Kentucky didn't, right? So now we're looking at those and you go, you shouldn't have to squeak out a win at home on the game that mattered the most to you. And you get rewarded for that. You get penalized for that, if anything. But again, I think Tarleton is better than Lehigh. I just don't like the wishy-washy flipping, changing their minds all the time. It makes no sense to me. Especially when the first two polls were so damn consistent with each other.
It makes you think, do the whole committee actually get in when they put out those top two
That's
for
fair.
the season? Or do they just say, here's where we kind of are. This seems good. But then when they sit down at this and go, look, Tarleton and Lehigh are 60 spots apart in strength of schedule. Like,
you probably actually, that makes sense, because aren't they like trapped in a room when they're doing this, like in person? Where I'm sure the previous two, it's a Zoom call and it's just, hey, submit your stuff to me. You're probably right. They probably lost more arguments in the room and then
because you look at the end of the day, they're not 5 or 10 or 11 spots apart. They're 60 spots apart.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Hey, DJ's here.
Hey, DJ, how's it going?
Good.
To the guys that don't know who DJ is a Montana boy that played for the Grizz, won a national championship with them. I believe just was put in the Hall of Fame not too long ago. And but then did come over to Fargo because he realized he was better.
Ouch.
I'm sorry.
Missoula's gonna burn you at the stake.
I don't have the professional setup like you guys. I apologize.
That's all good. It's all good, DJ. Thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate that. We're talking about the top. I assume you saw the bracket release and we're tracking it. We're talking about the top 4 seeds right now. Obviously, 1 through 3 were pretty obvious. You're really talking about should have been Tarleton or Lehigh at number 4.
Here's a question for you guys, because you guys do this in and out all the time, right? So I just have a question for you. Look at the top 8 seeds and tell me, or even the top 8, who do you think has the toughest next game that in the round of 16? And I'm not saying this because I'm a Grizz fan, but I was just looking at a few of the lower seeded. Who's 8? Who's the 8-9 matchup?
8 is UC Davis.
Davis and Rhode Island if Rhode Island wins Saturday.
No offense. I'd rather the Grizz gotten the 8th seed.
That's fair.
For the first round game, obviously it's different after that. But I'm just like, that first round games, there's some legit matchups. The Bobcats playing that Youngstown QB is probably going to win the Peyton. That's not an easy walk for the 2 seed either.
No, I agree with you, DJ. I think that's a horrible draw for him. Now, I just don't see Bozeman losing in Bozeman, and I think Vegan is a good enough coach to know how to take care of him. I honestly say Bozeman wins by 2 to 3 scores, but
I just always thought the top 4 seeds usually have kind of a cup, not saying a cupcake, but an easier draw from around the country. Do you guys, in the years past, do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, I assume because you're looking at, if you're Montana and you're looking down the barrel, you're seeing South Dakota State there. But let's be honest, is South Dakota State right now, and I'm saying this because Brendan couldn't make the show, South Dakota State right now the same South Dakota State that won in Bozeman earlier this year? And the answer is no. They definitely don't look as strong as they did earlier this year. And it's not just because Chase Mason hasn't played. They've had other issues as well. So
is it just their bunch of injuries? I just haven't. Can you guys just fill me?
Yeah, they're butchered. Yeah, they have tons of injuries across the board now. Rumor is a lot of their top tier guys are actually going to be coming back. So then that makes this game a little more dangerous. But if they are out, I don't think Montana should be struggling too much.
I don't think Montana struggles at all against their defense. I've been to 2 of their games at home, and I think Montana with Gilman and Wortham and the way Yacht's playing, I honestly think they would carve them up. I don't see it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like, it's not the same South Dakota State team you've seen the past couple of years, right? The defense just, to me, isn't as strong as it has been. And that offense, they're still, they're gelling, and their line hasn't looked as good as it has.
They shuffled their line around for the UND game. If you guys don't know, they started a new guy at center. Started a new guy at center, moved the center over to guard, I believe, and they did look a little better in that game. But I still don't believe they'd be as good as the guy in the middle now that is Die Eagles Die. I believe he's their new starting center.
And they were probably
Matt, I think you're on mute.
maybe 2 feet away from not even making the playoffs. Like, give him a hell of a job for that overtime, throw to secure the win. But if he misses that, he gets sacked where, is only 2 feet away from getting sacked. They're probably not even in the playoffs, which is pretty crazy to think about South Dakota State. But again, if they're healthy, that's a different team that no one wants to play.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to play.
I was hoping to play Yale first game.
For sure.
Everybody's hoping to play
on that
Yale.
one.
Guys,
That's the famous open for Yale.
Who doesn't want to play one of those teams from that Ivy
100%.
League? I mean, we've been talking about this since I played in the 90s, and how the Ivy League's been, we're so much better and we're the best and blah, blah, blah. And everyone just can't wait to take on an Ivy, one of those two teams. Everyone's
100%.
Yeah, they're going to get walked, but I think it's cool that the Ivy's in, and I'm for one. I think Kyler's on the same page. I think everybody is like, sign me up for a home and home with Harvard, because I would go to Harvard for the game.
I honestly, at one point, let's say this, that brings a good point for later, but let's say Harvard had won, they would have probably nailed one of those top 8 seeds. And like, if let's say SFA had the chance to play Harvard second round, I would have booked my flight immediately to go watch.
Or they would have been treated just like Tennessee Tech.
Or they would have been treated just like Tennessee Tech. That is very true. That is very, very true. Too bad Jamie's not on here to defend his team that he loves so dearly.
I mean, it is pretty crazy. Again, that's just with my conversation, but I think Brian made a good point. But in the committee's eyes, they were the 6 the whole time. Then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we met together. Now you're going to be the 13 on the same exact committee that put him at 6 just a couple weeks ago. That was wild.
It is crazy to me. Like, I don't know if they really deserve, honestly, I don't know if they deserve to be a top 8, but I think where they're seated at now I think it is too low. And it is wild that they just completely did that. And it's wild they gave an 8 seat to Davis.
But
that is wild to me.
I mean, in our chat for the past, 8 months that all you guys give me crap about, I have pounded sand that strength of schedule matters.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think with what just happened here the other day, I think strength of schedule played a massive part in it, especially when you look at a 7-5 team that got in.
Yeah.
They have the number 1 strength of schedule. The Valley's 12.6 overall, the teams that got in. I mean, it played huge factors in this.
And then to Kyler's point he made earlier, right? You want to talk about should a top 4 seed be, last week of the season struggling against team and barely beating them? Should a top 8 seed be in the same boat? Because look at Tennessee Tech, right? UT Martin took them to the wire.
Yeah.
And UT Martin was not a great team. So
yeah.
So I can see some justification there, although there's some folks who are mad about it. Matt, what are your thoughts on the top 8? I know we talked, I know you hosted a show this morning and did all that crazy stuff, but what are your thoughts on it?
I think besides UC Davis, I don't think I was really shocked. What I was looking into a little bit is my thought for the evening, I guess, would be the impacts of 16 seeds. What we haven't heard last year and this year is, well, you never know if you want to be the 1 or the 2. Sometimes you're the 2, and because of geography, your side is actually easier. I remember in 2017, NDSU was the 2 seed. James Madison was the 1. NDSU had a cakewalk. They didn't play anybody. I think it was like Wofford and Sam Houston. It was like 50-7 every game. Meanwhile, James Madison gets South Dakota State and Weber State, who was really good that season. But just the impacts of
look at how those had nothing to do with geography.
Yeah, I know, right?
2 teams you played were much closer to JMU.
Yeah, I mean, but look at the seeds 1, 8, 4, 5, 16, 9, 12, 13. What that
you want to be the 1 seed now, for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
Oh, NDSU is a cakewalk.
But when you look at the Bobcats last year, and of course teams are different. On NDSU at the 2 last year, on their side of the house, you had Montana, you had South Dakota State, you had Incarnate Word, who was a team that got a bye, Abilene Christian, scrappy team, Mercer. And then you go over to Montana State's side, and it's like UT Martin, New Hampshire, Lehigh, Richmond in their corner. Like the 1 seed, and that's how it's supposed to work. That's a good thing. So
yeah,
I'm interested over the next 3 seasons when you get a half decade's worth of data to say, damn, that 1 seed literally changes the game in comparison to the 2. Because this year, especially, that is a gauntlet on the other side. Best of luck. NDSU is going to stroll. They're going to walk all the way to Nashville, book your flights. But what's coming out of that other side? Best of luck. That's
yeah,
going to be
man.
crazy.
I'm not trying to cause work for you, but like in a couple of years, when you need some off-season content, that would be some good content. Analyzing 16 seeds versus 8 seeds in the playoffs. Once you have that data, that would make a good off-season show.
Now that ChatGPT is relevant, I can actually pull that off. Okay, do all this work for me. So, no, the top 8 seeds, it is pretty generic. It was a result of a lack of chaos, honestly. I mean, NDSU never tripped up, and we figured Montana would be close, and Lehigh survived. So Mercer got their season together, and that's pretty uncommon, I think.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's funny about SFA getting the 7th seed. I got a message from somebody within the conference, and all it said was trust the process. And I was like, listen, you don't understand. Okay. Like it's like being a Cowboys fan, being a fan of a Southland conference team. Like you don't want to overhype them because that's what happens every year. And then there's disappointment and failure. Like it's better to sandbag than to be overzealous. And the 1 year I was overzealous about SFA. Look what happened to them. They were the most overrated team in FCS that year. So to that point, we got a goat coming in.
The goat.
The goat.
I just saw Taco King on here, man. I had to jump on.
Zach, how are you, man?
Good, man. How are y'all?
Good. We're talking about the top 8 right now. You can throw like a goat in the background, a little. Meh.
I have a bounce, a drum roll, a gong, and a heartbeat. That's it. That's all StreamYard gives you.
That's how my heart. That's how my heart feels when Zach pops in.
Those are your 5.
That's what your heart sounded like on Thursday night for sure. I know you were out there. You were all in the videos and on camera and photobombing the players.
Hey man, listen. I had to get my own shots too, and from the field, so I can try to get media credentials.
Rev, maybe I've missed this. I'd love DJ if you go off on mute. I remember first meeting DJ through Taco, and he said, I talked to him, and it was after the SDSU game. You talked so much about the Montana schools and the kids and their type of recruitment. And then you were like, look at South Dakota State. Like, that's not what we saw, was not the same thing. What do you think the Montanas are going to bring this year against like the North Dakota State, which is, just this year's version of it? Do you think with all the Montana kids and everything that there's going to be some more competitiveness in there? Have you seen that change or flip under Vegan at all? Or what are your thoughts on that? Because it was such an interesting perspective when you talked in the airport with me 2 years ago during a tornado delay or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, I think Vegans tried to make Montana State into, NDSU 2.0, right? And I think last year they had the O-line and the offense in that championship game. Let's be, just my opinion, they should have beat NDSU, but they got absolutely outcoached so bad in that first half. It was ridiculous. But fast forward to this year, what shocked me watching the Cat Grizz game, I honestly, Brian and I talked about this earlier on the cell phone this morning on just how I thought the Cats weren't as good as I thought they were going to be, and the Grizz are maybe a little better than I thought they were going to be. But back to the Cat, to answer your question on the Cats and the Montana kids, and this, last year they had such big individual awards with the Cats. They had to get some development too this year with some of their line and some of the kids they lost last year. But that Lamson at quarterback, you guys, is legit. He is really, really solid. I know there's a lot of great QBs across the FCS, but to answer your question, do they have the depth no one has the depth of NDSU, right? No one does. But then can they have that one game where they can compete with NDSU and see if NDSU could make a few mistakes? Is there enough Montana kids that care about winning? And that's what you mean, right, Matt? That's what you're trying to get to, is that has Vegan turned the Cats into that Montana pride and trying to win a national championship for the first time, a real national championship for the Bobcats? Are they there yet? They're close. They were close last year. I don't know if they're as good as last year. Brian, what's your take on that? I mean, you and I talked about.
I do not think Montana State's as good as they were last year. I think if you play Montana State's last year versus this year, I think last year's Montana State team wins, and I actually think they win comfortably. Lamson is a stud, but I'll take Tommy all day long over him. Their O-line was, from the eye test, I've only watched a couple games of Montana State. I thought their O-line last year is definitely better.
Yep.
And I actually was a little, like you were saying, I'm on the same page. I was a little shocked Montana did what they did to Montana State coming in. I would have never in a million years said Montana was going to score like they did on Montana State coming into that game. I would have lost
that 8-minute drive that started the third quarter. The Grizz haven't done that against anyone else all year. They've been so consistent offensively. So it's just
that way. Year.
So again, I would say the Cats are the better team between the Montana schools, and they'd win 7 out of 8 times. 7 to 8 times. Back to Matt. I'm trying to make sure I answered your question. It just, can you rephrase it one more time?
Wouldn't it be as much mentality? I just remember in the airport, it was such like the size and the stature and the depth of SDSU. It was like, how does a team that it didn't even feel like SDSU was FCS? That was kind of your description. Kind of like you got NDSU now and the Sargon ratings, if I'm saying that right, up to 29. It's like, how are we supposed to get to that? Montana is so good. They have all these things. And the games are, how do we just bridge that gap? That's small. It seems to be smaller. Kyler's spoken on that for sure. It's definitely closed a little bit. Kyler, wouldn't you agree, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's closed, but at the end of the day, it's still, NDSU's title, and everyone else is just here playing to just try and compete with them. I mean, that's what it is. It's we all know NDSU's winning. I think I said it in the preseason, but now we're not trying to close the gap anymore. We're just going, hey, can we make it not embarrassing when we play the championship? Like that seems to be the new mentality. Now, I will say with this Montana State team, compared to last, I think we'd all agree Malott was just a different type of gamer, right? He's a guy who could take over a game versus anyone at this FCS level, where I think maybe that MSU team is probably a little better than this year's. So this one seems more balanced to where you're not just prepping for one guy. And when you're having 3 weeks of prep for a team, when you're just prepping from a lot, just like I think, MSU is going to prep really well for YSU's quarterback. It's, you got one guy that you got to try and slow down. And North Dakota State did a good job for 1/4 of it before Tommy Malott started, kicking into gear. But now it is a different Montana State team where you have a very effective quarterback. He's not a Malott. He's not going to run it 200 yards up and down the field if no one's open, but he's going to stay in the pocket. He's going to be a little more aggressive, and he's going to look for those open wide receivers. So if I'm NDSU, it is just a different Montana State team that probably has more ways to potentially win. I'm not saying they're going to win, and I'm going to bet the house on NDSU in that game, but there's probably more ways where they can try and spread the field and try and actually get, first downs over maybe last year where it was, all right, we're going to spend 2 seconds, a lot, run through the heart of someone.
So here's my question. I'll agree with that. You talk about balance. I think they might not have as good a tight end or certain spots where they had kids leave to transfer out. But is there another team in the FCS that has that two good of running backs and a quarterback that can run the ball that well? No. NDSU has Peyton and they have Breaka. So maybe they're 2. Would you say NDSU is right there with them? I mean, NDSU has a receiver that's NFL, so that's a whole different world, right?
Yeah.
Not comparing that. I'm not saying NDSU doesn't have the better offense. That's not what I'm saying. Who has a better 2 running back and QB running attack like those? So that was the difference in the game, the Cat Grizz game, was Lamson's running. So,
so I would want to know what Zach's thoughts are on that, because he's probably watched every team in the FCS this year.
No, I mean, I think
he started growing his beard every time, Montana State. It was just, bald-headed face when they lost to South Dakota State, and he was like, I'm just going to grow this out until they, lose again. So it's been growing.
I'm telling you, but no, I think if you're looking for 2 running backs and a quarterback, I think Montana State has that. I would agree with you there. I think the closest comparison, if you want 2 running backs, before Trey Page went down, you would say Tarleton with Gabales, Trey Page, Tylen Hines, and they got the third guy behind them that has like 500 yards this year in a third string role that started the year at quarterback. I think it was like James Page. So that would be the only one I think that would have two. Also, I don't think they have the quarterback, but Jaden Green and Luke Yoder at Lehigh are two freaks at running back. I think Yoder had like 4 touchdowns and averaged like 13 yards per carry this weekend in that one. But I don't know if NDSU has a second running back that like scares me as a feature back. Now DJ Scott's good, but I don't know if I want him running the ball 25 times in a game and being my feature guy. Like Pinu's the guy for them. But then, like you said, I don't think anybody has a receiver that's even on the level of Bryce Lance and is not even close. He's just a freaking some of the catches, like you look back at that South Dakota State game, he's the only receiver catching some of those passes because they had him blanketed and he would just be the better receiver. And I'm with you. Like I'm kind of with Kyler. I think I was asked last night on the Late Show with Borg and Brendan if I had someone else's $1,000, would I take the field or NDSU? And I would probably still take NDSU to win it all. But I do think if there's a team in the field that can push them, I do think it's Montana State. I would push a little bit back with Taco King that Montana State is not as good as last year, because I do think defensively they are much better, particularly in the secondary, because all those young guys that were backups last year, they blew out everybody but NDSU really, and maybe UC Davis last year. All those guys got reps and they grew up so much last year. From linebackers back, I think they're much improved, and they still kind of, if Chris Long would have stayed healthy, I think we would have looked at their receiving core a little bit differently. He's starting to get healthy. You mix him with Taco Dowler. You got the 2 running backs now. I will agree the offensive line is not as good as a unit. They're still talented enough, though, where if Lampson has a big game and they can establish the run, I do think they're really the team I look at that could push NDSU the best if I have to pick a team.
Yeah, NDSU's lack the internal run game of the power that they've had in the past. In fact, Tim Paulsek even called it out after not this previous game, the week before. They're like, hey, he pulled every starter, but the offensive line played the whole game. And he's like, yeah, they got to play better. He called the whole unit. He was like, not good enough.
Sounds like, Matt, from what I'm reading, we're down a lineman, I would imagine, for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So if you take that impact of what Taco just said, plus kind of their struggles, and now take 4 starting defensive linemen for Montana State that are seniors and some real athletic linebackers that could maybe take away that run capability to Cole Payton, suddenly it's interesting. Honestly, some of the outlier has been, thank goodness for the NIL and the Green and Gold Fund, has been we're in trouble, go deep, and there's Bryce Lance. So that's not good enough in a game where Montana State could play clean and get the victory. So I think there are some possibilities for Montana State to get the win. Zach, can I pick your brain quick? Because I've been debating this for the last 3 hours on Twitter. Youngstown State in the next round, if they get by Yale versus the Bobcats, do you see that being like NDSU versus Youngstown, where it kind of got close and was big, or do you see the Bobcats overwhelming them in that situation with Bo?
If Brungar plays up to his capabilities, they're going to have a shot to win that game. Now, the question is what Youngstown defense shows up, because we've seen Youngstown's defense play really well. We've also seen Youngstown's defense give up some explosive plays. And you guys have all watched enough Montana State to know if they don't take away the run on the other side, Montana State's going to say, yeah, we don't even care if you have Brungar. We're just going to run this football. And Brungar's going to enjoy sitting in the cold on the sideline. And they're just going to run it down Youngstown's throat. And that's my one concern there. And also, too, you mentioned kind of the same with Cole Payton. Montana State's got the athletes at linebacker where do you take one of those linebackers and say, listen, wherever 12 goes, that's your guy. And I think they're athletic enough where Brungar's not going to beat them to the edge, and they're physical enough to bring them down in the open field. And you've got a guy like Caden Dowler that can play everything in the back end. Do you bring him down into the box as an extra defender while trusting his athleticism to get back if you need an extra defender? I like Montana State in that matchup, but I mean, Taco King, I mean, you and Matt, like you've saw this team up close. That scheme is so hard to prepare for with Youngstown because it's so unique, and And you guys know this, and I think Taco King can speak to this, especially sometimes it's hard to scheme for a team because the scout team doesn't have a guy that can match what Brungar brings in real time.
Here's where I want to counter you on that. And I think you guys will all like this. If there's one defense who had prep time to really practice against a guy like this, wouldn't it be the secondary who's going after him a lot the whole time?
That's fair.
That could be fair.
Right? I mean, I think that this is a perfect example of what almost Montana State was without the line, without the weapons. This is what Youngstown State is. They're last year's Montana State, that's just not as talented and not as good of a defense. So if you have the full defensive unit who was young last year and had to get real live reps prepping for him a lot, I mean,
they're a little different though.
They are.
They're a little different though.
But it's the same concept. And if there's one team who could do it, it's got to be that team who prepped for years.
What Zach said is right though. Grant Olson, God bless him, he was in hell that day against Youngstown, and me and my buddy Ross were in the dome watching it. We're like, how many guys are in motion? Like the smoke and mirrors scheme of Youngstown is wild. Like
with Flash Wilson at wide receiver there,
goodness.
it's like number one, and then who's number 7? Is it Jaden Gilbert at running back? He's a weapon, and then. But listen, people sleep on Max Tomczak. Like the Valley has some freak wide receivers this year, from Sopkowitz to Tomczak to Lance. Like they just have so many weapons offensively that it's hard to prepare for. And like Matt said, they use so much motion and unique formations, and they're going to throw a trick play in there. And then there's just some plays, and it's funny with two NDSU guys up here because this happens so often with NDSU. Go back and watch that Illinois State game. You play perfect defense. You know what Cole Payton does? He's going to beat the mic to the point of attack. And then you're like, man, we locked everything up in the back end. We got pressure, and Cole Payton still somehow gained 27 yards on that play.
Yeah. I would say the nice thing for NDSU is, they've got a week off to prep for, to watch film on both Southeastern and again on Illinois State. And, Paul Sec has time to look for real estate in Corvallis also. So it'll be a good week for him probably.
Those two games are going to be bloodbaths. It is.
Yeah.
I don't care who wins that first round game. It ends in Fargo.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no shot. And I guess to that point, let's go through kind of 9 through 16 on the seating because I think we talked about 1 through 8 pretty heavily. I know I've seen some things where some people are upset that the CAA did not get a top 8 seed. And a school like Davis did, and even to an extent SFA did. But in my opinion, I think they probably nailed out where the CAA should sit. Zach, I'm going to go to you. What was your reaction on where they put Rhodey and where they put Nova?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I think Rhode Island was going to be somewhere in that 9 to 11 range. Yeah, the strength of schedule wasn't great, but it was still 10 D1 wins, right? And they were going to put them somewhere in that top 12. And I thought Villanova was fine. I did wonder how they were going to look at Villanova only playing 11 games, though, because they canceled a D1 game early. Said we're not playing. I think it was Morgan State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mistaken. That got canceled. Yeah. I didn't know if they were going to punish them for that, but I did think what helped Villanova and Rhode Island is the chaos that happened in front of them, with Monmouth unexpectedly losing, with Harvard getting blown out, and all these teams started to kind of fall by the wayside. That's what helped the CAA seeds. But I agreed with you, Rev. I didn't think the CAA deserved a top 8 seed personally. But my worry is that the committee was still going to give them one because they've always had like this soft spot for the CAA for years.
Yeah.
Is it because the CAA, none of those people actually watched them on Flow?
That's exactly it. They couldn't watch them.
I mean, we didn't talk about this, and I want Zach's thoughts because we kind of harped on this in the beginning of our first episode, if you're okay with this, Ref. But UC Davis is an 8 seed. That's kind of the head scratcher that a lot of people are, thinking, what the hell's going on? Do you think, even though that game was canceled when UC Davis was up on Mercer, that they're kind of taking that into account when they're doing this committee? Because if not, I mean, their best win is Northern Arizona. So that one's kind of the head scratcher. But now if they're taking that Mercer game, but then Mercer's ranked ahead of them, which is a little wild too. So I just want to know your thoughts, being the guru of the FCS. What is this UC Davis at 8? And I mean, how do you justify it? What is your thoughts on that?
I hated it personally. I'm kind of with you. And people can say all they want that they were going to beat Mercer. Mercer
was coming back at the end.
Mercer was walking them down to tie that game when they
Mhm.
went into the break. So, and I just want to remind people that was without Braden Atkinson. So, would that game have even been close if Atkinson was in there? I don't know, and we never know. I do think they considered it, and what I bet you what they said is, I bet you they looked at it like a tie. It was a one-score game. Mercer was about to score. They probably were like, man, and with Atkinson not playing, they were like, these teams are about even. We'll just place them close together. My confusion was, are we doing resume, right? That's what everyone talks about, eye test and resume. You look behind them. Okay, I'm not going to argue for Rhode Island, right? But Rhode Island beat more teams in the field than UC Davis.
Yeah.
Abilene Christian has 4 ranked wins this year. And they were 8-2 against the FCS, just like UC Davis. Abilene Christian has a better strength of schedule than UC Davis. They have a much better resume than UC Davis. Why are they behind them? I mean, South Dakota has more quality wins than UC Davis. They have one more FCS loss, right? They're 8-3 against the FCS. Why are they like? I thought UC Davis was grossly overranked, and I know they don't have any signature wins. I don't think UC Davis should be above Tennessee Tech either, personally. Like, I thought UC Davis should have fell somewhere in the mid of the 9 to 16 because, and here's what happened, and it's fair, right? They got the Big Sky Missouri Valley bump, and that's cool, and we'll see how it plays out in the second round.
Yeah, I was going to say that was my thought. The reason why they got it is because of the conference they're in versus their actual results and resumes. They got the Big Sky bump. It's a great way to put it. We can talk about Tennessee Tech. You did not like something I tweeted on Twitter, Zach. I said that UND would beat Tennessee Tech by 17. I'm still keeping that up there. I think
I would take Tennessee Tech plus 17.
We got a bet.
You want a beer bet in Nashville on this?
Yeah,
one?
we
beer
can bet.
I'll if I get 17 points, I'll take that absolutely.
17.
I'll give you 17. I'll give you 17 points.
Okay, I got beer bet for sure.
Beer bet. All right, there you go.
That's a crazy spread.
That's a lot of points, Rev. I was just thinking like heads up. I would take UND to win heads up. I'm not so sure I'm giving Zach 17. I'm a gambling addict, for God's sake.
Here was my only pushback with you, Rev. Like, we don't see games based on hypothetical results.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously your personal bias is always going to confirm what you believe in these hypothetical. Like, if let's just take SFA.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just say I'm an SFA fan. Maybe I think SFA can beat North Dakota State, and that's hypothetical matchup. I'm taking SFA over NDSU, so let's seed SFA over it. Like, I just don't like playing the hypothetical matchup game. And at the end of the day, the only thing that got me is they let Mercer slip by with a Presbyterian loss. They let SFA slip by with a D2 game as well. They didn't punish Montana for a D2 game, but now all of a sudden we're going to draw the line at Tennessee Tech, who went 10-0 against the FCS. Like, that's where, and then you look at their strength of schedule, it's really not that much different than Rhode Island. It's like 8 spots behind them.
Five spots.
5 spots behind them. But
yes, so
but who's Tennessee Tech's best win? What on the resume?
Gardner Webb, probably.
Gardner Webb, right? Like, what? So that's what it is. It's not I actually like Tennessee Tech. It's not a bias, right? It's just looking at it. You look at, they have looked great, but they also are fitting the definition of a paper tiger because of who they played. They remind me of some of these other teams that have had great records that they hadn't played anybody, right? And then they get a bump up in the playoffs, and then they get knocked out their first game. Like, that's it. And do I want to see a Missouri Valley team win? Hell no, right? I'm tired of Missouri Valley teams as a whole. Screw your conference. But to me, it's just, I feel like that, they had a great record, but they played nobody in Kentucky.
They tried, though. I do give them, because this is the only reason I push back a little bit on that is, if I can see the team tried to schedule good, they tried to schedule with Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first year in 5 years Chattanooga sucked. Is that really their fault?
No, it's true. It's fair. And, to be fair, they're probably also prepping for their new home. But no, to your point, again, it all comes down to that. It's not a hypothetical. It's just it's just the same thing. I test and maybe a little bit of gut feeling. But do I want North Dakota to win? No. Do I think they're going to win? Yes. That's the difference. And that's what it is. It's the same thing. Like, I didn't think SFA was going to get a top 8 seed based on their resume. I'm still shocked that they're 7th. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I'm still 100% shocked that we got a bye the first round because I didn't see it happening. I didn't even see it forthcoming. Uh-oh.
An hour ago, we're landing in Portland. What are we doing there? That's weird. What a weird one.
I believe both Vegan and Polisek have interviews.
No, I called Tim. He's like, no, I'm out.
Did he? Okay. Did you double check? Did you double check? Okay.
I double checked with him.
I want to make sure it was you double checking and not McFeely.
Yep. He said Oregon Ducks or nothing. I was like, all right, perfect. That's great.
Yeah. All right.
The carousel begins. That's do you think when are Walter Payton like things in? It's probably Bo Brungard, but like when does that do?
I think it's next week we vote.
Do you think like Western Carolina quarterback going and announcing portal, do you think that has impacts on voting, or will voters not even care about that? Nothing?
I don't think they care. Like, you remember who was it, Max Brosmer, who finished like second or third?
Mm-hmm.
And he came to the ceremony with the Minnesota coach. Like he was already enrolled at Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like it's down to the single portal season. That is nice. That's at least some clarity of like, all right, they can move one portal season. That's fine.
Zach, so speaking of Dickens, where do you think he lands? Do you think he gets P4 or do you think he's G5 sort of school?
P4,
P4?
I would imagine. Now, the one concern is maybe his size, but we've seen a bunch of smaller quarterbacks succeed at the P4 level. Like, I think too gaudy of his stats. He has the Kerwin Bell like signature on his thing. Cade Bell is killing it at Pitt. I think he's probably going P4.
Nice. That's good. Trying to think about the 9 through 16. One other thought, I did say this before the show, but Southeastern Louisiana fans, I got called a hater by y'all today, and it's true. I absolutely hate you and your school and your fans, except for Danny Johnson. He's the only one. But y'all need to write Yale a thank you card because they're the reason why you got a top 16 seed. So make sure when you're doing your Christmas cards, whatever, you send some stuff to New Haven, Connecticut, because Yale football got you a home game.
I mean, here's one for you, Zach. On here, are we okay? And I pounded on this with the Ivy getting 2. I'm not, but not with their strength of schedule with what it is. I am just not okay with it. Not even a little bit. It's 81st strength of schedule for their 2 teams combined.
I'm okay when it's 9 wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God, I'm not.
McNeese kind of got screwed off that in the past.
Well,
yeah, but that was also a
they
smaller field.
Well,
they played D2.
They had a D2.
Like,
they had a win
against like, yeah.
No, they played D2 Florida Tech. And
it was also a 20 game, wasn't it 20 team field, or was that when it just went to 24?
No, when McNeese got screwed?
Yeah.
It was, I think it might have just been. No, it was, yeah. Ooh.
It was 24 at that point.
It was 2017.
Oh,
so yeah,
it had 24.
It had to be 24. Because that was the last time Southland got three schools in.
Yeah, 2017, McNeese became the first 9-win team from one of the top 6 FCS conferences to not make the playoff field since it expanded to 24 teams.
But also, they weren't 9 wins.
They were 8 wins.
Were 8.
They were 8 Division I wins. They lost to Nichols. They lost to UCA. And was Sam their other loss? It might have been Sam. Was their other loss that year.
Shout out to the McNeese fan who's listening right now going, heck yeah, it's about time they talk about my program. It's been years.
No, hey, you want to talk about the McNeese program? So yesterday on Twitter, McNeese, I don't know, Zach, if you saw this, but McNeese's Twitter account said after they beat Lamar, said, well, I guess we knocked you out of the playoffs. and Micah or the Lamar team clapped back at him this morning, and they're like, well, we still beat you. that was McNeese. I was like, man, you took a loss on Twitter.
Are we going to get an apology if Tarleton's not a state?
What?
For the, what was it, ACU or whoever tweeted
Abilene.
out?
Oh yeah, Tarleton's not a state.
And they apologized for it. Like that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Well, it wasn't what they said. It was what they said in the fine print on that thing. I think that's really what more got them in trouble, because they had some good smack talk in the little fine print at the bottom of the of the thing. But again, like, like it's football, it's social media. Social media is just a different beast now. Like, I don't think you have to apologize for anything. Like, what they also said was true in the fine print. So I mean, I just thought it was funny. So, McNeese finally gets mentioned, but yeah, they beat Lamar, but they definitely took an L today.
Who's everybody's guarantee in the bottom left? So it's not Montana. It's not Montana State. That's where Tarleton sits. Who is if you had to say, this is my guarantee, it can be Tarleton, but are you going to chalk it up in that corner? Lehigh, Tarleton, UND, Tennessee Tech, Harvard, Villanova.
What UND team shows up?
Yeah.
What UND? I'm not so sure UND can't make a run at this. I mean, what quarterback shows up there? I mean, was god awful against NDSU and somehow still stayed in the game, though, because UND's defense was outrageously good. I think if that defense shows up of UND and their quarterback plays average, I think they could be issues for teams on that side there.
Yeah, actually, that side of the bracket is pretty hard to determine who's actually going to come out of it. I actually think it's pretty even across the board, which is wild to say. I wouldn't be shocked if Harvard goes and beats Lehigh. I wouldn't be shocked if Lehigh beats Harvard or Villanova, either or. And then I wouldn't be shocked if Tarleton beats, Tennessee Tech or North Dakota. And I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee Tech or North Dakota beats Tarleton.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, to me, that set has the most. I think volatility is the right word.
Now, Tarleton by far has the most freak athletes on that left side. Tarleton has the
everywhere here.
Tarleton by far has the most freak athletes. I'm sure Zach will also agree, to where if they're playing their game, they're a nightmare to prep for.
Yeah,
but
that's why I would pick them. I think stylistically, they're the hardest team to prepare for in a week.
Mm-hmm.
This was that was the most political answer amongst the group besides Zach ever. Sir, will you or will you not be raising taxes? Well, we'll have to see. There's so many things to consider, and like Harvard and Lehigh, those are different. Come on, you got to pick one.
I think there's only two that I think are locks to go to the semis.
Who's that?
I think it's Montana State and North Dakota State. I like Montana State versus any of those teams. I really do. And I like North Dakota State versus any of those teams. The other two sides of the bracket, I'm not sure who I would pick.
I agree.
Okay,
I think Montana has a real bad matchup waiting on them.
Yeah.
Rev, since it's a MEGALIVE,
even if they get all the way to, let's say Mercer ends up getting all the way to Montana.
I'm sorry, Matt?
Montana has struggled versus elite quarterback play, and is a freaking dog. So, I mean, yeah. Now, good news is probably going to be in the snow. Can Mercer prep for that? We'll have to wait and see, because the ball doesn't really fly as much in the snow. But I only like two sides of the bracket to where I would feel confident betting someone to make it to the semis.
Okay, I want to ask if you're okay, Rev, with this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's build out of this field the most fun semifinal possible. And you cannot take North Dakota State, Montana State, or Montana. You cannot do it. To be the most fun. Everyone's been bored for years of the FCS, or they claim, because North Dakota State and Montana schools ruin it. So let's do this. It's MEGALIVE.
Mm-hmm.
Let's build the most fun semifinal possible, starting with this corner, the one seed. It's not NDSU. Which of those squads going makes it the most fun in the semis?
God,
I think Southeastern Louisiana, personally.
I demand
That. Ooh.
I think
if we're having the most fun,
Davis,
how cool would it be if Central Connecticut State?
CCSU.
No, a little bit of reality here, you know.
Oh, I mean, my bad.
A little bit of reality, then it's probably somebody. Like, honestly,
probably Davis.
It's probably Davis, Rhode Island.
No, Davis is boring. Davis is boring.
No, I was going to say Davis because of the offense.
Yeah,
because there's some when you look at the other sides of the bracket, Davis is going to make sense with the pick here.
Yeah, I would say that. I think Davis makes most sense.
All right. Well, you see Davis there. All right. What about down here?
This one is more fun.
Yeah, this is more fun.
You could pick anybody here. Like, just they're all.
I mean, I would love to see Harvard make it all the way to the semis. It's not going to happen, but I would love to see it.
I mean,
If
I
you want to
feel-
talk offense, though, if you want UC Davis versus Tarleton State,
I want
That's
UC
why.
Davis
That's
versus
why I
Tarleton.
picked UC Davis is because UC Davis Tarleton in a semifinal in
Back and
Tarleton
forth.
in Texas.
It's
Yeah.
in Stephenville, where there's not going to probably be much weather. You know, I would say semifinal December Texas, you might have some cold, you might have a little bit of ice, but not anything
Over under set at 80.5. Like, give me that all day.
and set the game length at like over under for the length of game time at 3 hours and 45 minutes.
All right,
Because-
Davis and Tarleton. What about over here? What's the one?
Mercer.
Mercer.
Mercer by far. Their
Yeah.
offense is fun to watch.
Yeah,
We're all
Yeah.
sick of all the other teams.
yeah.
100%.
New Hampshire, South Dakota. We're like, no way. Screw
Yep.
these teams. Mercer there. All right, then what about up here in the top? I mean,
Give me the Revs.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, I would like to see Youngstown on that one then.
I was going to say Abilene Christian or Stephen F. Austin. Give me one of those two.
Yeah.
Give me the Revs.
Yeah. And Kyle, to your point, I know you said you're comfortable with Montana State. You don't think that Youngstown State could
No.
take out Montana State? Really?
No, I really
No.
don't. I don't think
Not
it's,
in those
I think it's
ones.
going to look. I think it's going to look a little more similar to how Youngstown State played against North Dakota. I think a 35-17 type of game is probably what I'm going to bet
That's
on.
fair.
I'll give somebody.
Now,
14
again, if it was a 17-point spread that anyone's giving, I'm not taking it because that's wild. But I do think Montana State is going to sail through their side of the bracket. I really
I do
do.
too. I would love. Now, can I say this? I know everyone's just putting Youngstown into the second round. Listen, that Yale team is not going to be a pushover, and that offense is good enough to give Youngstown a scare. And if their defense plays like they did against Harvard, that Yale team is not going to be a pushover. Because I know everyone just thinks Harvard's overrated. That's fine. They have a kid who's going to hear his name called in April for the NFL draft if he
Yeah.
doesn't transfer to a P4. To what they did to Jaden Craig in that offense for 3 quarters until he just woke up and tried to bring them back was so impressive. And Tony Reno is a hell of a coach. I don't think Yale is just going to be a pushover where you see Youngstown beat them by 30 points.
I don't think so either, if I'm being honest. I also love that I believe this is the first time in history there's a battle for the Y in postseason play.
Love it.
So,
Yeah.
battle for the
gotta be.
Y.
yeah, I mean, they're the only, I mean, why?
Losers got to change their team logo.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Sexiest and ugliest uniforms in the 2014 bracket. Best and worst
No,
of all these squads.
no,
Helmet, pants, jerseys, full combo.
This was hard.
yeah, because I'm trying to think who's. I mean, it would
Montana's
depend.
Give
orange
me
are
the black. Give
disgusting.
me the black with Montana.
I mean, I still think South Dakota State's ice white helmets with the rabbit on there are probably one of the sickest ones in FCS. But I don't know if the rest of the jerseys make that the winner.
I'm gonna say Lehigh's the worst.
Lehigh's god awful. I'm
Worst
sorry.
jersey. Awful color combo.
Mm.
God bless them.
God bless them.
But
Awful.
It's
color
kind of
combo.
weird. Like, I don't know. They're too like formal, I guess. I like Harvard's jerseys, but they're not special, so I can't pick them.
Mm-mm.
They're just iconic. They're classic.
They're classic.
I love Mercer's helmet, the one with the old bear
Mhm.
on it. That one's fire, but I don't like the rest of their uniforms.
I do like when we wear our script Jack's helmets instead of the
Yes.
SFA one. That and then having the trees on the sleeves. I like, but I don't know if it's. I wouldn't say it's the best one that's in this.
Montana State's got some underrated ones too.
I
I
agree.
love Montana State's color scheme. You see, all
Just
like
UC
this is the
Davis.
problem with the problem with this question is all the teams that invest in fun uniforms are the teams that don't win because they're trying to distract their fans.
Hey, you just mean recently. Was that a dig at us?
No, I wasn't even thinking about y'all. That's the funny part, but it does apply. So I am.
It does nowadays. No,
apologize.
we actually stopped investing in our uniforms, so that makes sense.
Let's be honest. All the best uniforms are in the SWAC anyway. We've already had this
Yes,
discussion.
that is fair.
So, like, sorry guys. Like these are
I
all.
think they got the
boring.
ugliest uniforms, ugliest logos. Ugh. Hate
SFA
Mississippi
gets
Valley
it.
State.
I'll be my last pick. SFA with the Jacks helmet. I need one of those. Those are so those are
Do you want me
sweet.
to, do you want me to try to steal you one? December 6th.
There you go. Steal it. Storm the field and just take it from a player. And
I
bring it
almost,
back.
yeah, like not, they're gonna watch. I was right when I took that photo with the helmet and the square. I was like, I could just snag this, but I didn't. I'll say they did have an auction for a signed 2025 signed helmet, and I got way the hell outbid on it. But good for them, getting the money for it. Like it was, it went for a nice price.
I definitely want to ask Matt and Taco King this question: as NDSU fans, who do y'all want to see in Nashville?
I will go ahead, Matt. I'll go second.
Well, I think Taco, you really wanted Tarleton there.
I did. I wanted Tarleton and Nashville bad, and now they're on our side. So I mean, it'll make it fun because I do think their fans will think they can win in the Dome, and hell, maybe they can. I don't see it. But I would have loved Tarleton and Nashville. But now that can't happen, I mean, is it going to be a rematch of last year? You know what? Give me the Grizz. Give me the Grizz. I think Montana would think they would win too. And heck, maybe they would. But give me the Grizz.
I don't think Montana fans would think they were beaten. I've talked to enough Montana fans. They don't feel very confident against a Dakota.
Yep.
Who I would love to see, obviously, just from the fan perspective of enjoyment for a little bit of change, would be the Mercer, the SFA upset. Some reality seed that comes in. If you want me to pick between the two Montanas, I do think Montana lacks a little bit of discipline, inconsistency, and I don't think their defense has nearly the threats that Montana State has. So I was pulling it. I was talking to Taco King and others about this. I was pulling for Montana to get that upset from the biased Bison fan, because I wanted Montana State to come to the Dome. I never understood Bison fans' theory on that. They're like, I just hope they're on the other side. I'm like, I'll take anybody in the Dome. Like, I don't want them in Nashville. Like, I'd rather bring them to Fargo. So I was kind of hoping for that, because I do think Montana State has a good chance. But if I had to answer your question directly outside of the Montanas, yeah, give me that Mercer upset, somebody like that. Heck, bring South Dakota State down there after a long run. That'd be fun, because I'd love a little revenge tour there from a few years back. So,
all right. So I guess add on to that. So talking about Nashville, so we assume the NDSU is going to be there. Stadium is bigger. Who outside of Montana State, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, do you think would actually bring the most fans into Nashville?
Yale.
I actually agree. One of the Ivies.
Didn't they have like 50,000 in their game? And I get it's a big rivalry against.
Yeah,
It was like 40. It's like 40 or 50K for the Harvard Yale game. It always usually is.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, the Ivies would. I think they would. I think other Ivy schools would show up for the other teams.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Tarleton would be underrated.
People in the stadium without a question.
Yeah, Tarleton would probably bring 12,000 folks if A&M didn't have a game conflicting at the same time.
If A&M doesn't make the college football playoffs.
Yeah, A&M doesn't make the college football playoffs. If not, there's going to be a lot of purple-clad folks switching to maroon real quick. I could tell you SFA would bring 7,500, probably 5,000, 7,500. So it wouldn't be that great of attendance. Yeah, but Tarleton does have some rabid fans, except for when College Station's doing good. So they're probably bringing a few. And I'm also very glad, Taco King, that there's not a potential Tarleton versus NDSU game, because I would be rooting for neither one of the schools, because I can't stand Tarleton. Like I just can't. Like I mean, I like the players. I love what they're doing with the program. They're fans.
As an NDSU fan, we don't expect anybody to root for us. Like, are you stupid?
Hey, I got a Snorty hat up there, so don't forget that.
You're rooting for Darth Vader. I mean,
I will be interested in NDSU fan in Frisco. I think even us as admins kind of felt Frisco last year, like, okay, how many times have we been here? But it was Allison and I, obviously, in Rainbow Row with you guys. And like first series, NDSU's in defense, we're cheering. And I kind of looked around. I'm like, I think we're the only ones in this whole section that's screaming for NDSU. Maybe we'll just be quiet. And what was that? That could have been 75% Montana State fans last year. over NDSU fans. And I got a lot of buddies who are like, oh, for Nashville, I'll go. At the same time, I got lots of Fargo people who are like, I assume NDSU will win. I'm not paying that money to go where it's 45 degrees. Like, as crazy as it is for Fargo people, they're like, I would love if it was an actual winter vacation. And if I'm going to get the same result, am I going to spend that money or am I going to go to Florida, which I'm
You
flying
need
to
to go
tomorrow?
to Boca, man.
You got
But-
Boca.
You.
Yeah. And not, I love Frisco, but I think Nashville is going to be, I'm pumped for it with you guys, but I'm going to be interested about the experience because the city's not going to embrace it. We'll be just their next bachelor party. And the weather is going to be, who knows?
The
Maybe we'll
weather in
iffy.
Nashville sucks in January. Like
Yeah.
January, Nashville's the London of the South, man. Like in the wintertime, like it's gonna my assumption is it's gonna be cloudy and drizzly or possibly snowy. Like I mean, last year it snowed at the same while we were in Frisco in Nashville. But also let's pour one out to the restaurants of Frisco for not getting their winter push this year from NDSU. I know this gonna be rough for them. It's a tough economy.
I'm just, I'm saddened with the whole fact that, again, it's at an outdoor stadium too. Like, can we play real football and like get a roof over top and actually, have no wind impacts? That'd be
They
nice
should just
for
take
one.
it to the red turf. Just every game should be played on the red
Oh.
turf.
Be beautiful.
Hell yeah.
You know what we
Hell
should
yeah.
do? We should play a
DJ,
national title game.
I got a question for DJ here, Matt. When you get a sec.
Well, I got to roll out because I'm going to Florida. Last thing I'll say: national championship in a dome with a red field, just to make everybody mad at the same exact time. Hey, I love you all. I'm flying out with the family tomorrow.
Hey, safe
And,
trip, man.
Enjoy the first round of the games, guys.
Have a good trip, Matt.
I got to jump to another show, man. So, guys, I really appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Rev, appreciate the invite as always, and I'll see all y'all in Nashville, man.
Thanks,
There you
Zach.
go, brother.
Appreciate you.
There's that. DJ, quick question for you. Oh, is DJ there? Oh, you're there. Okay. If we see the brawl in the semis, do the Grizz have a chance in hell in Bozeman?
Before yesterday, I would have said no. I still think they'd be a heavy underdog. But let's just see if they can beat South Dakota State and South Dakota, stay healthy, get those two corners back that started for them. Their best player on defense has been out since game 4. I just want to see if that makes a big deal. You got to be able to stop that run. They were pretty solid, but Lamson can't. I don't know the way. If he plays like that, he to me is the difference maker. If he plays, he was 18 for 20. What he rushed for 75 yards in that game yesterday on the road. Can they beat him? Yes, I have a better chance of them beating, but let's see let's just see how a few things play out. What's your take, Brian? Do you think it's still think it's worse? I mean, most Bobcat fans are going to say it's a 42-21 game.
Yesterday, like I said, the Grizz bit themselves in the game. The pick 6 was huge. I mean, that was
blocked field goal, that return. There was 2 touchdowns called back. One was a really iffy call too.
Yeah,
but
you got Wortham who fumbled. That was luckily not turned over. But I think if the Grizz can get there, I think they might have a little chip on their shoulder. I think it's a close game again.
I know Bobby called the whole Michigan-Ohio State deal last year. I think that's a little far-fetched, but I that's just my opinion. But I mean, that's how you got to look at it, right? You got to look at it like, would I as a Grizz to lose to the Cats twice in 1 year? I mean, most people are going to be committing suicide that night. But as far as, would you rather go play at NDSU? You have a better chance of. Here's what I'll say: I'd rather go play in Bozeman than Fargo.
Yep.
To go to the touch chipper.
Well, let's make a big transition because you see we have another guest in here. That's my friend and yours, the man behind the Southland social media team, James Hill. James, man, I assume you're outside still enjoying a cigar after Southland got 3 teams in. Figured you're still celebrating that. Glad you can make it in.
Absolutely. It's been a great night for the Southland, and we've got about this much left, but it's we're we're thrilled we got 3 teams in, and have kind of gotten back to the where the Southland used to be. 17, 18, 19, we had 3 teams in, and we put together a terrific season this year, and we really wanted to get 3 teams in this year. We thought there was 3 deserving teams, and we were super excited to see 3 names called today. And so, obviously that was part 1. Now we want to see what they can do with the postseason. So, figured I'd jump on and say hello to my good friend, the Rev. I haven't been able to jump on this year, so I apologize. But
It's all good, man.
always
all
good to
good.
see you.
Yeah, it's all. So I figure I know you're from the boot. Are you going to try to go to Hammond for the first round game or no?
Actually, most likely, family's in Baton Rouge, so we're gonna be doing Thanksgiving in Baton Rouge already. So probably we'll head on over to Hammond, and I think what will be a really compelling game with Illinois State and Southeastern and Strawberry. I think that'll be a really fun one to see who gets that trip to Fargo afterwards.
Yeah, no, I 100%. There was some talk this morning. I actually think Southeastern's defense matches up real well with Illinois State. Kyler, I think you were the other way this morning. Illinois State was better. I can't remember who it was. That was.
Yeah, I think Illinois State will probably get the win there. But man, I will say I loved going to Hammond. I love their little stadium. I think it's nice. I think it's underrated.
Absolutely,
Like the brick. It is a pretty little stadium.
It's great. They'll have a great little tailgate scene. Obviously, Thanksgiving is never easy, but they'll have a tailgate going. Coach Shelfo does a great job. I will say, and the Southland propaganda never stops. But if you haven't seen Caleb Proctor, that guy I think is going to be on an NFL roster next year. It's the D tackle for Southeastern.
Yeah.
He leads the league in sacks, and I think he's one of the best defensive players in the nation, along with KK Reno, and that, that's what's going to, that's what we'll decide for Southeastern. Can their defense make an impact in that game and get their offense going? And Southeastern's had more of their struggles have been on the road, no doubt, but at home they have been very, very good this season. So it'll be great to see, obviously excellent Missouri Valley team coming in and seeing how that matchup plays out for sure.
Yeah, and that's where I lean Southeastern Louisiana, because the game is in Hammond and they're not on the road where they lost, to Lamar, and then they struggled in Cardinal Word. But also too, it's the Camp Bowl. You can't forget that also.
Of course,
because
such a cool story, right?
That's really awesome. For those of you who don't know, Carson Camp, quarterback for Southeastern, his brother is a wide receiver for Illinois State, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. That'll be nice for the family to watch their boys play on that Saturday. Although I will say, as a fan of SFA, and I talked to some other SFA fans about this, it does kind of suck that our game is going to be against teams we've already played this year. Secretly, as much as I enjoy Micah and Lamar, I want revenge against Abilene Christian.
Yeah,
it's kind of, we've already beat Lamar once. And it kind of sucks there's Southland cannibalization with that matchup, but it was going to happen. But I personally want revenge against Abilene Christian.
Sure. That's understandable. I'm going to obviously go the opposite way, but no, I think, it's one of the things you're going to get sometimes with the regionality, right? We'll take the 3 teams, of course. And, but, we were also thrilled to see Stephen F. Austin called as a number 7 seed. That was one thing I will say to y'all. Seeing SFA in person a few times this year, and the Rev knows as well. I just think that's such a complete ball club, and I know they had the 2 losses early on, but they've rattled off 10 straight since.
They look good,
and it, not just offense, defense, but special teams as well with Bugs Mortimer and what he does in the punt return game. That defense is nasty. That defense is all sorts of nasty. I really think it is one of the best defenses in the country, which has kind of been the MO of the Southland this year, has been defense.
Which isn't normally the Southland.
No, it's usually the other way around, right?
Yeah. You just call it the Southland because there's no D.
Yeah, right. But SFA is very stout, and again, that's another team that I think what benefits SFA for potentially getting to a quarterfinal is it's at Homer Bryce up until the quarterfinals, and then Homer Bryce, they have been just excellent at this year. They have been a very hard team to beat there. So whether it is Lamar for a second time or Abilene Christian coming to Nacogdoches, that'll be a fun one for sure.
Hey, James, let's go get Southland tattoos.
You tell me, we'll get a compass somewhere, right?
Yeah, there you go. Kyler will do it too. Kyler is all about bad tattoos. If we could find a reason to raise money, Kyler would get a Southland tattoo.
Well, hey, I just wanted to pop on, shout out
Yeah,
to
thanks,
Rev,
James.
and appreciate all you guys do. I think this FCS playoffs is going to be a lot of fun. I really think that right side of the bracket with the Montanas has a lot of potential to be really, really fun, whether it ends up being a Brawl of the Wild semifinals or chaos. Also with South Dakota State over there as well, and then the Southland group and plenty of others, obviously. But 3-bid Southland. That's what we're excited about.
Awesome. Thanks, James. Appreciate you popping on. Hopefully we'll see you in NAC on the 6th.
Most likely. Probably will see you there.
Nice, man. Thanks, bro. Cool. Well, I know we've been going at it for quite a bit. I don't even know what time it is. 9:15, I guess. It's been an hour 15, not bad. Before we wrap up, Kyler, what are your thoughts on the first 4 out? I know we saw that. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but who do you think really and truly got screwed on that first 4? If anybody did. And I know folks are going to say Presbyterian. No, they didn't. They shouldn't have even been the first 4 out. But out there,
I don't think anyone really got screwed because no one really had a real case. I know you guys are talking about like Austin P, but dude, no, Austin P didn't deserve to be in at all. I truly believe that. You're 5th place in your own conference. How the hell do you deserve to be in the playoffs? You didn't beat anyone. So no, your best one is West Georgia, the D2 transition team. Come on. So no, I don't think anyone really got left out, to be honest.
Yeah. Taco, you have the same thought?
I lean Austin P just because of who got in just over them. But I mean, I'm not like upset about it, but I would have liked seeing Austin P in.
I mean, if they beat Tarleton, they're probably in, but they didn't beat anyone.
Yeah.
They beat Tarleton. That's it.
Middle Tennessee they stink. Their only win is like Nevada.
Yeah, they're 180 in Sagrin. Like, they're awful.
They're horrible, but at the end of the day, they're still an FBS team, and they kind of boat raced them. I don't know.
Then they got boat raced by good FCS teams.
Yeah, I'm not going to say they got completely horse screwed, but I lean they should be in. But at the end of the day, would they have done much? No. So
no, I mean, if you had to put them in, then you got to put everyone in the UAC in because they're a 5th place team.
That's exactly it.
The worst one I saw today was the UTGVRSVLT people completely going off the charts saying they should be in the playoffs. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you played a couple D2 teams. I was in 3.
They played 3 non-division 1 now. I will say I'm excited for the future of Rio Grande Valley. Rev and I, we got to go down to a game there because also a passionate fan base, and I hope they continue to just first year ever playing football. Yeah. You know what? I would just say that's a successful season, right?
Their stadium, they sold out of season tickets and their suites, and they hadn't played a down of football.
And they're the only team for like 6 hours.
Yeah, there's nothing near them. It's people forget how big Texas is and how far down the valley is. Like the valley, like if you look at latitude wise, is equal to like Miami. Like there is in the Florida Keys, like there is nothing between San Antonio and the valley except for pasture. And so I've given them crap because they did play three sub D1 teams, but man, they did
first year playing football.
Yeah, and they beat Prairie View, who's in the SWAC championship. Shout out to UT Roy G. Biv, because they are one of those schools that have the resources, they have the fan support, they have the stadium, they have the things that are going to bring recruits in. And the Valley's really untapped when it comes to football talent. I mean, look at Eddie Lee Marburger. He's a Valley kid. Yeah. He's from the Valley. He went to UTSA, came back home, and look at the year he had. So obviously I saw some non-UT RGP fans saying, oh, they should get at large. No, they shouldn't have. But still, it was a great season for them. Nothing beats one.
You still got 9 wins in your first year ever playing football. And I mean, if I'm the Southland, I'm going to be nervous about them in the next few years. Probably not next year, but I mean, they should be a top tier Southland school.
I think because Marburger is a senior, so I don't think he's able. I think he's done his eligibility. Yeah. But I mean, other than that, that team's think about it a lot. They had a lot of young kids this year, a lot of sophomores because they all came in as freshmen right, to work last year. So don't look at, maybe not next year, but the year after, they would be who I'd look at to win the conference title. Because if they keep other players, they're going to be gelled. They're going to be solid and seniors at that point.
Can I ask you guys just two quick questions before? I'm sorry if I had to come on. Kyler, you're an Eastern guy, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, Barney Ball's out at Portland State.
Yeah.
Do you think who do you think can Barney Ball or can Portland State ever turn into something consistently legit? You know,
No.
we've seen obviously the resources that have hurt
Right.
Portland State have hurt you at Eastern with the powerhouse that Eastern was for 25 years that, you know, so they get there. I mean, obviously they finished the season strong, have a great young QB, fun to watch. I mean, Easterns will be back if Best can get it together consistently and keep, you know, the studs around. I mean, Wortham was unbelievable, by the way. Thank you for him. I just want to say I'll be sending you a gift present.
I appreciate that.
From the Wortham transfer. So that's one question after you. The second one, Rev, I want you to finish up. You're a big Stephen F guy, right?
I am.
I want to listen to you. I mean, I just can't get this, how the QB there struggled so much in Montana. Then he goes there and turns into an All-American last year. He just had an unbelievable, nice career. Loved him when he was a Grizz. You know, married, leader. It's just interesting to see why he never ever. But just it's so what a neat story. And you know what I was looking for. I expected him at Wagris, and I was like, oh boy, if that kid gets rolling, I mean, he with the vengeance he's going to want against the Grizz program. So I just wanted to hear both. Kyler, you're on the Portland State, maybe Aaron Best, you know, just kind of as things roll into here, and then the Rev. I wanted to hear your take on your QB. Do they have a chance that can he put up some points on Montana State? I'll leave it at that.
So I don't know, at least on like, there's some intangibles there too. I mean, obviously, if you look at competition, that probably has helped some. But then, you know, Vidlac also did struggle against like Ferris State, who's not a slouch. Could it be the system? Could it be the coaching? Could it be the, you know, those things like that could be it.
Pease is hard to play for. He's very hard to play for. So I probably needed a different culture and system for him.
So I think it's those intangibles, right? I don't necessarily think it's the talent thing. I think it's things like the culture. I think it's even the offense scheme, things like that. I mean, you know, I will say Vidlac has gotten better this year as the year's gone on. Granted, he kind of played a little timid his first games, but to be fair, he came off a heinous injury against Nicholls State last year. So, you know, I think that's what it is. Now, could they put up points at Montana State? Yeah, they could. Could they beat Montana State? The fan of me says there's a chance. The realist of me says probably not. Unless SFA's defense can shut down Montana State's offense. That would be the difference in that game. But no, like, I mean, it's just amazing what can happen to a player going from one team to another.
That's a great story. That's a great FCS story that to me has not been talked enough about this year. What Sam Vidlac did, starting for a few games in Montana, losing his spot. They go to the national championship that year as a backup, and then he transfers, you know, Stephen F. and just has. You know, but I get a funny story to tell you. My first start ever in college, how old were you in 1998, Rev?
I was turning 17, and
I remember it was the home opener. I don't know if you were at that game. The Grizz we played Stephen F. as a sophomore. First game I ever started, and I swear on the field, this kickoff, it was 125 degrees.
I'm pretty sure there's a photo from that stadium that I've seen where it's packed, and it's packed on the grass. It's like it's that stadium. I don't know if it was that game or if it was a playoff game, but there's a photo from that year where even the berms are full of people. And yeah, in Nacogdoches, God, that field is hot. That field's hot when it's, you know, 70 degrees outside.
It's a great atmosphere. I remember playing it. I thought it was a really solid. That was back in the day when
that was
Stephen F. They had some teams. That was in the prime, probably when you were in high school there.
Was that the Larry Centers years, or was that after Larry Centers left? I can't remember. Larry Centers was around that time. Trotter was around that time.
Oh, I played against Trotter.
Yeah.
And that guy was a dude. Oh, man, he was a dude. He was so good, you guys. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off Stephen F. Tyler, give me a little Eastern. Eastern kicked my butt enough in college. I played in Spokane. I played at the stadium.
Good old Joe Albee.
Yep, you've been there. Seen that.
Oh yeah. For Portland State, I just if literally their university started investing in them, they have a lot of things that could be going for them, right?
That renovated stadium when
Metropolitan-
the Grizz were there is beautiful in that game.
Yeah,
a couple
for
weeks
sure.
ago.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't really ever play there just because they don't have the fan base. I mean, you guys probably had half of the stadium full compared to Portland State. So when you're looking at like Portland State, I mean, again, big metro area with a lot of good caliber high school football, right? Even just across the river, you got Camas, Washington, who's a powerhouse in football. Like there's a lot of local recruiting talent that Portland State could probably go after. It's just we always talk about like, resources at Eastern level, right? But Eastern level outspends them in just football by like 25%. We always talk about Eastern not having the resources. Well, Portland State doesn't at all. I mean, even our coach's salary across the board for athletics is like $400K more than Portland's. And Portland's is only like $1 million when it's across all sports. So it's going to be hard if they ever decide to invest, build like a local on-site stadium or use the Timbers, facility and actually invest in the program and hire the right way. Potentially, but I don't see it. I think Portland State's kind of always going to be a dumpster fire, to be honest.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. So you tell me, give me the prediction next year, Eastern. What's their record? They need 4 team. Are they a playoff team next year, you think?
Probably not, to be honest. I forgot what their schedule looks like. It looked winnable for at least 6 games, but they're probably going to be 6-6. But I will say, if Jake Shackle, decides not to enter the portal, he's been an Eastern fan since he was a kid because his, dad was a coach at Emerald Ridge. We recruit heavily out of there. So it seems like he's always wanted to go to Eastern, which is pretty cool. And he's our highest rated QB recruit ever. And he finally got some playing time and he looked phenomenal. Definitely some learning curve. Yeah. But even when we lose him, in the last game, he didn't suit up because he was injured in the game prior, right? He didn't play the fourth quarter of last game, and then he didn't play at all versus Cal Poly. But when he's not in the game, it's just a whole different dynamic. When he's in there, finally the wide receivers look like the Eastern wide receivers of old because he's putting balls in places where they can make a play. So we just don't have depth at quarterback besides Jake.
That Eastern receiving core, probably it was at 8-10 years ago, had 3 NFL receivers. Oh my God.
There was one year where they had 4 because you had Simba Webster as a 4th stringer, so he didn't play, but he was still on the wide receiver roster. So they had 4 NFL wide receivers, which is just insane. But I hope Eastern gets back to it. I think we need to find a different coach, and I love Best as an Eastern guy, but he's just not the guy. And the biggest thing for us is I wouldn't even say it's like the resources because Eastern's a top 25 for just football in terms of resources on what the school and the budget is. The difference is just NIL right now. Mm-hmm. Our fan base sucks. We're not donating. We can't afford to keep anyone. So you got to keep all those Zags
basketball players there. That's what it is. Everyone in Spokane's got to keep all the Zags.
They're all Zags. They're all Washington
Wazoo,
State.
Yes. Idaho, Wazoo money. Get rid of that. We got to get some money out of the Palouse.
I hope so because there is money, and we're having our best athletic funding that we've ever had in terms of donations.
Oh, that's good.
But the NIL is it's a different beast now, and I think we'll go back to where probably Eastern should be because of their resources and just a middle of the pack Big Sky team. I wish I'm wrong in that. I just don't think I am.
Yeah. Hey guys, do you think there's going to be another player that's ever going to get the money Trey Lance got this year? Bryce Lance.
Bryce Lance.
No.
Maybe, but it's going to be hard.
I mean, no, you have to have an NFL, a big money guy like the
Ivies could do it if they
wanted. The Ivies could do it. Yeah,
that's true. That's very true. Never thought about that.
But it's crazy when you look at this because you're talking. If you take a look at the Big Sky, right, and you look at just what Kyler's saying, it's crazy what the Montana States can do because they are the biggest fish in their state versus Eastern, who, no offense, Skyler, is not, right? It's the same thing that Texas schools battle, probably even though there's another level because SFA is probably 4th tier in the state when you look at all the schools. And it's just crazy to me how even with that sort of gap and who's a big fish and who's not, how Eastern has been so good, has been able to compete and probably will rebound and compete with some of the talent that they have coming in.
We've had good coaches that just recruited.
You got to have a different coach. You got to have not the best. You can't have the best coach in Eastern right now.
I just think we need a different recruiter.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, boys, we're at about an hour and a half. I want to say real quick, thanks to all y'all for popping in on your Sunday before Thanksgiving. Real big real big thing. Go around, Kyler. Everybody knows where to find you, but if you want to plug something, go ahead and plug it. But Taco King, DJ, I'm sure DJ, after hearing you talk, they want to follow you if you're on any of the social media. So Taco King, why don't you go first and say where folks can find you trolling everybody every week?
Yeah, I don't do Twitter. I don't do anything besides Facebook trolling here and there. And, you'll see me on Facebook trolling you. So, suck it, Grizz.
What about you, DJ? Where are you on socials?
Yeah, just a little Twitter action. DJ Coulter Agency, insurance agency. So just I do a lot of sports stuff on there. So DJ Coulter, DJ COLTER.
Nice. Well, DJ,
thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, glad you're able to make it on. Just a reminder, there'll be some shows this week, I'm sure, on the FCS Fans Network. I know JI went live tonight. I'm sure B Team and Scared Money will be live, but also make sure to, I know Zach recorded a show today already. That guy is everywhere, but make sure you follow the Blue Bloods. Make sure you follow Sam Herder, Kevin Marshall, everybody in the FCS, sphere, because all the support of these shows, all the support of the local media, the big guys, all that is what helps grow the brand. So make sure you follow that. Y'all have a great week. Have a happy Thanksgiving, except for you Canadian people who already had yours. Happy Thursday to you. Hope you enjoy your Thursday. Taco King, I know you'll probably be home.
I'm actually heading to the States in the morning.
Yeah, I was like, you'll be
Thanksgiving.
He's a double. He gets a double whammy, boys. Isn't that the greatest?
Yeah,
that's genius.
I'm getting the double whammy, and I'm going to the Nebraska-Iowa game to watch that SDSU quarterback.
That'll be fun. He, apparently he's not that guy.
No, he's not.
But no, y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the first round of the playoffs. That's how I'm going to spend my birthday, sitting on the couch just watching football the whole day.
And see you in Nashville.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, man. And see y'all. We're so close to Nashville. It's coming quicker than you think. Anyways, y'all have a great week. We will talk next week. See ya.